Hi everyone and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. In this short tutorial we're going to be learning lots of techniques, from using different edible paints, different moulds and the best way to use them. I use SweetStamp by Amy Cakes, and I'm also using this very unique topper that can be used over and over again. So if you are a hobby baker making them for family and friends, you can create a beautiful topper in any decoration that you want to suit the theme of your cake. Simply wash it in warm soapy water once it has been used, and then it can be used again. As always, everything you need to know in a simple step-by-step format. Let's make a start. The cake topper used is by SweetStamp by Amy Cakes. They come in many different shapes and sizes and they are available worldwide. I will leave a link in the description below this video. I then use the Dragon Scales mould by Katie Sue Designs. A great tip when using moulds: first add some icing sugar, place on fondant. You do not need modelling paste all of the time, and simply push this down with your fingers just to pick up all of the detail and those indentations. You then want to go over this with a rolling pin and cut off any excess. The technique and the tip is very simple. I then place this in the freezer. You want to freeze your fondant and it will come out beautifully without losing its shape. Look just how easily it comes away from the mould and the shape that it keeps. If you are wrapping this around a cake, just don't leave it in the freezer for quite as long. This has been in for some time. Use some cooled down boiled water as a natural edible glue. Simply place the fondant directly onto the plaque that you have chosen. It doesn't matter what shape it is. I have found just using a lovely sharp crafts knife, just simply cut away the excess fondant before applying the other half. Now these metallic completely edible paints by Rainbow Dust are absolutely beautiful. This one is the dark gold and I simply paint over the fondant and then just allow it to dry. But look how stunning and effective that is. For the plaque, I simply routed through my cookie cutters and cut out some grey fondant. Using the cookie set by SweetStamp, you then want to select each individual letter that you're going to need. I use some fondant for this as it allows it to come out of the pad nice and easily. Once this has been done, you then want to rearrange them directly on top of your fondant. And once you've done this, simply push them in. Now I like to push them in quite deep, and I do take them out using some tweezers. If you're doing a slightly different effect to me, you might just want to push them down lightly and then paint each individual letter. I then painted this using a metallic dark silver, again by Rainbow Dust. Remember, this paint is completely edible. Now just another little tip, I then use an edible glitter dust. Now this is completely edible. It has a little shimmer to it, it's absolutely beautiful, but just to protect some of those letters so that they stand out, I simply place on the SweetStamp again. This is the glitter dust pump, completely edible, and then I just spray it directly over the top and wait until you see just how beautiful it looks. A simple technique, but a great idea just to add that perfect finish. I then very carefully glue this into place using some cooled down boiled water. Once this had all dried, using a very fine brush, I simply painted each embossed letter using the same metallic paint that I did for the dragon scale background. Using the Swords mould by Katie Sue Designs, simply add a small amount of fondant again and place this directly into your freezer. It's not in the freezer quite as long this time, and then you are able to easily remove each individual sword. I then very carefully, using some edible glue, apply this directly to my plaque and I simply painted over them with the same dark metallic silver. For the dragon's claws, I'm using the Dragon Claw mould by Katie Sue Designs. I choose to add 2 colours, green and then brown. Simply add one at a time and then again place this in your freezer. Simply release each claw one at a time and then add a small amount of food contact glitter just on the end. I also add this around the outside of the actual plaque. And then using some edible glue just around the rim of this plaque, I added some food contact glitter. Very cost effective. Remember, they can be used over and over again. So if you have children, they are a great idea and a great alternative to help keep the costs down. Happy baking, everyone, and I will be back soon with an awful lot more new, completely free content.